My stepchildren demanded I apologize to their bio dad for overstepping, so I apologized to my savings, hired movers, updated school contacts, and delivered his kids to his door with a ledger. He finally understood. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Reddit Visuals. You know what's funny? People will treat you like an ATM for years, then get shocked when you close the account. They'll use your love as a doormat, then act confused when you take it back and walk away. My name is Caleb. I'm 42 years old, and for 8 years, I thought I was building a family. Turns out, I was just funding someone else's kids while being reminded daily that I didn't matter. This is the story of how I gave 3 ungrateful people exactly what they asked for, and watched their world crumble when they realized what they'd lost. Fair warning, this one gets ugly. But sometimes ugly is exactly what people deserve. Let me take you back to when this nightmare began. I met Talia when I was 33. She was 34, divorced, with 2 kids, Noah, who was 10, and Ava, who was 8. Their biological father, Aaron, was what you'd politely call a part-time parent. He'd show up for birthdays and Christmas, take some Instagram photos, then disappear for months at a time. Child support was hit or miss, and visitation was whenever he felt like it. Talia was exhausted, working 2 jobs, struggling to keep up with rent, and constantly stressed about money. The kids were good kids, but they needed stability. They needed a father figure. So I became one. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. During that time, I was already acting like their dad. School pickups, homework help, soccer practice, doctor appointments. I handled it all. I bought Noah his first bike, taught Ava how to tie her shoes, spent countless nights reading bedtime stories and checking for monsters under the bed. When Talia and I got married, I made it official. I legally adopted both kids. Full parental rights, full legal responsibility. Noah and Ava became Noah and Ava Williams, my last name. Aaron had to sign away his parental rights, which he did without hesitation. Apparently, Instagram photos were one thing, but actual responsibility was too much work. We moved into a house I'd bought, 4 bedrooms, a big backyard, and a quiet neighborhood with great schools. I converted the basement into a game room, set up study spaces for both kids, and made sure they each had their own sanctuary. This wasn't just my house, it was our family home. For the first few years, things were perfect. The kids called me Dad. We had family movie nights, took vacations together, and celebrated every milestone. I was at every school play, every soccer game, every parent-teacher conference. I paid for braces, summer camps, tutoring, college prep courses, everything. Noah was accepted to 3 different colleges. Ava made varsity soccer as a sophomore. I was so proud of both of them. I thought we'd built something real, something lasting. But when Aaron moved back to town 3 years ago, everything changed. Suddenly, he wanted to reconnect with his kids. Never mind that I'd legally adopted them. Never mind that he'd willingly signed away his rights. Never mind that he'd been absent for their entire childhood while I'd been there for everything that mattered. He started taking them out on weekends, having expensive dinners, shopping sprees, and taking trips to amusement parks. Classic Disneyland dad behavior. All the fun, none of the responsibility. And the kids ate it up. That's when the disrespect started. It began with small comments. Our real dad said we don't have to do chores if we're getting good grades. Aaron thinks our curfew is too early. Why are you so strict? Our biological father is way cooler. I tried talking to Talia about it, but she brushed it off. They're just excited to have their father back in their lives. Give it time. But it didn't get better. It got worse. Noah, now 18 and preparing for college, started openly challenging me. "You're not my real dad," became his favorite phrase. This was the kid I'd raised since he was 10, the kid whose adoption papers had my signature on them, the kid I'd legally claimed as my son. Ava, at 16, was even crueler. She'd introduce me to her friends as my mom's husband instead of her dad. At her soccer games, she'd point to Aaron in the stands and loudly tell people, "That's my real father." Meanwhile, I was the one who'd driven her to practice 3 times a week for 6 years. The final straw came 2 months ago. Aaron had taken them out for dinner, and when they came home, they asked for a family meeting. The three of them sat across from me like I was on trial. Noah spoke first. "We've been talking with our real dad, and we think you need to apologize to him." I was genuinely confused. Apologize for what? For overstepping, Ava said like she was reading from a script. For trying to replace him. For making us call you Dad when you're not our real father. My heart stopped. I adopted you both. Legally, I am your father. Only on paper, Noah shot back. Aaron is our biological dad. That's real family. You're just a guy who married our mom. Talia was sitting right there, and she said nothing. Absolutely nothing. Aaron says you took advantage of him being absent to steal his place, Ava continued. And now that he's back, you need to step aside and apologize for interfering with his relationship with his children. I looked at Talia, waiting for her to defend me, to remind them of everything I'd done, everything I'd sacrificed. Instead, she said, "Maybe they have a point. Maybe you have been trying too hard to erase their connection to Aaron. Can you imagine?" I stood up very calmly and said, "You're absolutely right. I have been overstepping, and I'm going to fix that immediately." I went to my office and started making calls. First, I called my lawyer. I want to reverse the adoptions. Both kids. I want to legally terminate my parental rights and restore Aaron's. Then I called the school district. I'm no longer the legal guardian of Noah and Ava Williams. Remove me from all emergency contacts, pickup authorizations, and academic communications. Their biological father will be taking over. Next, I called our insurance company. Remove Noah and Ava from my family plan. They're no longer my dependents. I contacted the bank and removed them from my accounts. No more debit cards, no more college funds, no more financial support of any kind. I called Noah's college and canceled his enrollment deposit, told them his biological father would be handling his education from now on. I canceled Ava's SAT prep courses, her soccer camp registration for summer, and her driving lessons. Then I did something that really drove the point home. I printed out every receipt, every bank statement, every expense I'd covered for 8 years, adoption lawyer fees, medical bills, school supplies, clothes, food, vacations, birthday parties, Christmas presents, soccer equipment, tutoring, summer camps, college prep car insurance for Noah, everything. The total was staggering, $347,000 over 8 years, not including the roof over their heads, the utilities, or my time. I put it all in a detailed spreadsheet with dates, amounts, and descriptions. Then I printed 3 copies, one for Aaron, one for the kids, and one for Talia. The next morning, I loaded everything into my truck and drove to Aaron's apartment. He answered the door in sweatpants, confused to see me. "What's up?" he asked. "Congratulations," I said, handing him the folder. "You got your kids back." He flipped through the papers, his face getting paler with each page. "What is this?" "That's what it cost to raise your children for 8 years while you were busy being their real dad from a distance. Since they're going back to you, I figured you should know what you're signing up for." He looked up, panicked. "You can't just—" "Actually, I can. I've already started the legal process to terminate my parental rights and restore yours. The kids are moving in with you this weekend. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Sounds like a you problem. You wanted to be their real dad again? Congratulations. You got the job." I left him standing there with his mouth open and the folder in his hands. That weekend, I helped Noah and Ava pack their things. They were crying, begging me not to do this, saying they didn't mean it. But I was done with their words. I'd heard enough words for 8 years. "You wanted your real dad back," I told them calmly. "Now you have him. Full time." Aaron showed up with a tiny U-Haul, looking like he was about to throw up. His 1-bedroom apartment had a pull-out couch and an air mattress. That's where my former kids would be sleeping. The reality hit them immediately. Aaron worked nights at a warehouse. He made $28,000 a year. He had no college fund, no health insurance, no savings. The kids' lifestyle was about to change dramatically. "Where will I go to college?" Noah asked, finally understanding what he'd lost. "Ask your real dad," I replied. Ava was sobbing. "I don't want to leave. This is my home." "No," I said firmly. "This is my home. You made it very clear that I'm not your real family. Real families live together. So go live with your real family. Talia tried to intervene, but I'd already served her with divorce papers that morning. You chose their side, I told her. You can live with that choice, literally. The moving truck left that afternoon. The house was suddenly quiet. Over the next few weeks, my phone rang constantly. Noah calling from Aaron's couch, begging to come home. Ava crying because she had to change schools and couldn't afford her old activities. Aaron calling me in desperation because he couldn't handle 2 teenagers on his salary. I didn't answer any of them. But I did keep track of what happened next because I'm petty like that. Noah had to withdraw from his college plans because Aaron couldn't afford tuition or even the application fees for financial aid. He's working at a fast food place now, trying to save money for community college. Ava had to quit soccer because Aaron couldn't afford the fees or equipment. She switched to a public school in Aaron's district where she doesn't know anyone and the academics are subpar. Aaron's landlord evicted them after 2 months because having 3 people in a 1-bedroom violated the lease. They're now crammed into Aaron's mother's basement, 3 generations in 400 square feet. Talia had to move out of the house because she couldn't afford the mortgage without my income. She's living with her sister now, working double shifts to pay for basic living expenses. The kids tried writing me letters. Long, desperate apologies about how they didn't understand what they had, how sorry they were, how they'd do anything to come back. I didn't respond to a single one. Because here's what I learned. You can't unring a bell. You can't unsay hurtful words. And you can't undo years of taking someone's love and sacrifice for granted. Those kids had 8 years to appreciate what I was doing for them. Instead, they chose to side with someone who'd contributed nothing but DNA. They chose to humiliate me, disrespect me, and demand I apologize for loving them. So I gave them exactly what they wanted, their real dad, full-time with all the limitations that came with him. 6 months later, I got a text from Noah. I understand now. Aaron isn't a real dad. He's just a guy who got mom pregnant. You were my real dad, and I threw it away. I'm sorry. I read it, felt nothing, and deleted it. Some lessons cost more than others. Their lesson cost them a father, a home, a future, and a family. My lesson cost me 8 years and $347,000. But you know what? I'd rather lose money than lose my self-respect. I'm dating someone new now, a woman named Sarah who has no kids and treats me like I'm the most important person in her world. We're happy. We're building something real, something where I'm valued instead of tolerated. Sometimes I drive past Aaron's mother's house and see my former family struggling with groceries, looking tired and defeated. Part of me feels bad. But then I remember Ava telling her friends I wasn't her real dad while I was sitting 10 feet away at her soccer game. Some bridges are meant to be burned. So was I wrong for giving them exactly what they asked for letting their real dad handle the reality of parenting instead of just the Instagram moments? I don't think so. They wanted authenticity. They got it. They wanted their biological father. They got him. They wanted me to step back. I stepped all the way back. And they learned that being a real dad isn't about DNA. It's about showing up every single day, even when it's hard, even when it's thankless, even when nobody appreciates it. Too bad they figured that out after it was too late. What would you have done in my situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story made you feel anything, justice, satisfaction, or even anger, smash that like button and subscribe. We've got more family drama coming your way, and you definitely don't want to miss what's next.